Midvale Planning and Zoning meeting to order. It's April 24th, 2024. We'd like to start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks. So let's do a roll call vote.
You mean just a roll call?
A roll call, yeah, let's
Okay.
vote. Be a roll call.
Chair Erickson,
Here.
Vice Chair Anderson.
Here.
Commissioner Lickey.
Here.
Commissioner Snow.
Here.
Commissioner Tippett.
Here.
Commissioner Kasparian is excused and Commissioner Edwards is excused.
Sweet, thank you. Did everyone have time to review the minutes from April 10th?
Yes.
Yeah. They were long.
What?
They were long and detailed, so
Yes.
thank you.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of April 10th, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah, we're good. Okay. It's my first time. Thanks, everybody.
Don't be nervous.
The first item on our agenda is an action item from our last meeting. We tabled a Midvale City initiated amendment. We do need to look at it again. So let's see. So do I need to read this part? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so it's a Midvale City initiated amendment to sections 17-7-12.2, .5, and .7 of the Regional Commercial Zone of Midvale City Municipal Code. These changes remove manufacturing, outdoor storage, and warehouse distribution as uses in the zone and any associated references to them. We have Jonathan Anderson presenting. This is not a public hearing. It's an action item.
Thanks, Chair Erickson. So like she said, this is the one that we tabled last meeting. Again, here's the text amendment criteria that you'll be seeing a bunch tonight. So we discussed last meeting, you guys wanted us to look at the possibility of doing some rezoning here off of High Tech Drive. So I've included a picture of the zoning map for this area with the existing clean industrial, as you know, is purple, regional commercial is there in the red. So the area you guys talked about, it directly abuts the residential neighborhoods there to the east of High Tech Drive. And also this is within our station area plan area that you guys also saw that when we approved end of last year. So this area to get rezoned to clean industrial just doesn't necessarily make sense for plans moving forward, especially as we're looking to implement an HTRZ zone potentially to facilitate redevelopment. And our motion has stayed the same. We can discuss changes to that as we deliberate for the action item, but that's pretty much where we are at with this one. Questions for me?
Go back to the first page.
Yes.
What did we say about residential? How many does that impact in that area?
So if we rezoned, you can see the pointer here, this area to clean industrial, it would then abut up against all of this residential, which for clean industrial, we don't necessarily want that for the residents and for, just for the sake of the city.
Well, and if we're trying to redevelop 7200, do we want to encourage manufacturing to move in, or do we want to encourage redevelopment?
Mm-hmm.
Is this Councilman Glover's company, is that in red or is that in striped?
I believe
Further up?
it's further over
It's on
here,
State.
right? It's on State Street,
State Street.
which is a completely separate zone. It's the State Street zone that he would be located in. And this only affects regional commercial, which is this, and then obviously where the Fort Union shops, it would affect that area as well.
So I do want to recognize, Candy wasn't here at our last meeting, but it was a long, long meeting and we were kind of emotionally
Done?
done. So we decided to table this because we had some misgivings. We had some memories of Grip 6 was using part of their manufacturing in this area. And so I think we were having some thoughts to,
Because we like them.
yeah, we do. And one of the reasons stated when they came through planning and zoning was they couldn't find
Yeah.
a manufacturing spot in kind of Utah County that it was as amenable as Midvale. So I think that played a lot into us being a bit, we don't know what to do. So to give that some context.
And this wouldn't affect them in any way. They'd still be
They
legal
would be
use.
grandfathered.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they wouldn't be affected.
Right.
We were just more concerned, would we eliminate businesses like them coming in? Because at first, they got a lot of pushback,
They did.
They did.
and they've turned out to be great.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern is with 7200 South and the redevelopment that we're trying to do on 7200 South, I would not want to have manufacturing directly on 7200 South, and that's part of that zone, so.
Yeah.
But that's the weird thing with Group 6, though, is I don't know how they fall.
Well,
Manufacturing, I've toured their place, and it's.
it's not, and
consider
when
it
he came and talked to us, he told us
Right.
what they did,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
it was
exactly.
very minimal manufacturing.
It counted, but it was a different
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
manufacturing.
And they're grandfathered, so they're not gonna be
Right.
affected. And we already have a zone for,
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, I just don't,
Clean industrial.
I don't see that there's a benefit to change the zoning, but that's my opinion. I mean, I read all the stuff from last week, and so I'm
Sorry about
familiar
that.
with, huh? I
Sorry
did,
about that.
yeah. I was grateful I had rehearsal.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just didn't see that it was beneficial to change it, because you've got all that housing on that other side, there's all, and,
Well, this change would remove.
Remove the
So,
manufacturing.
Yeah.
so we would be changing it, but we're removing.
yeah, and I think that's the best thing to do for that area, just because of what we want to do with 7200 South.
Yeah, I
It
think
just
with the
makes sense.
context more of the station area plan and the 7200 South future, that it would be, that it works.
Yeah, I just don't,
That's what I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
too.
yeah, I just don't
It's-
think it's beneficial to turn that into
Okay,
manufacturing, but that's
Okay.
my opinion.
yeah. Any thoughts on a motion?
This is the right slide. Yeah.
I know.
I'm happy,
Long-term,
yeah,
I mean, I see it now, it works,
Yeah, and there are other areas that would be,
yeah.
yeah.
If I could,
Yeah,
planning commissioners,
Oh, I guess.
this is, I'll make it quick. As you remember, this is one of the areas that we did a station area plan. And so long range, we're hopeful that this area will redevelop in more of a higher density mixed use fashion. This change does not do anything for any of those existing businesses. It's just the first step in perhaps redeveloping in the way that is envisioned in the station area plan.
And
I
that's
think I'm
what,
more worried like the hopeful, so if it doesn't hurry and get cleaned up, would we rather have it the way it is sitting, or would we rather have somebody like Grip 6 come in and use some of the space?
well, I mean,
'Cause we're a ways out from this being.
yeah,
cleaned up.
but look at how
Yeah.
long it's taken Main Street to get going, and now things are
That's
starting to
true.
happen, and I think
You don't want to stop it.
yeah, I think we need to allow development to happen in the kind of development that we actually want, and not put something else in there just because it's there, so.
And we could get something that is very much manufacturing that deters us from developing. And so you kind of have the opposite. Yeah, we
Yeah.
may deter a good company like what's in there, but yet we could get something worse, and then it could hamper redeveloping that station plan.
especially because it's still an allowed use here in clean industrial.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll go with the flow on this one.
Okay.
You don't have to.
I can see it both ways.
Yeah.
I really can. Main Street has taken a long time, and this is, I think, gonna take longer.
Yeah, and I agree. It's not gonna be, we're not gonna have a quick fix here, but I think we just need to leave the door open for what we,
At least then if
Want.
somebody comes
Yeah,
in,
what we
they're going,
want to
oh, it's
have, yeah.
all ready for me to go ahead and
Yeah,
move on it.
that's what I think.
Which could be really beneficial for that area.
I also think it's probably wise to ask yourself, are you looking for the short term in this type of a decision, or is it something where you're looking out for the long-term interests of the city?
That's where I'm having the tough part.
Yeah.
Short term, I wanna get something in there and keep
Yeah.
it out, but
yeah, but
long term, we want
I
this.
think you gotta do the, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy to go ahead and make the motion.
Do it.
I move that we recommend approval, right, of the text amendment for section 17-7-12.2, 17-7-12.5, and 17-7-12.7 as provided in the attachments with the findings noted in the staff report.
Second?
Roll call?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. All right, next up on the agenda, we have the rest of public hearings. Midvale City initiated rezone request to change the zoning from clean industrial to Main Street form-based code on the following parcels: 7413 South Main Street, 7409 South Main Street, 7407 South Main Street, 7397 South Main Street, and 669 West 8th Avenue. Information regarding the proposed regulations, prohibitions, and permitted uses that the property will be subject to if the rezone is adopted can be found in the Midvale City Code 17-7-11, unless that is presented.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so kind of a long way to say that we are just looking, city is proposing to rezone this corner at the very northern end of Main Street. I'm not sure entirely maybe why it was left out originally with the Main Street form-based code taking up the bulk of Main Street, but we feel that it might be appropriate to rezone these properties given the change in character in the neighborhood and everything that's going on with the development on Main Street. So it's just proposed that that corner up until 8th, and it goes a little bit further as you'll see it kind of juts over. It's just following property lines there. We just didn't want to have a mix of zonings. So that's the proposal. Any questions for me?
I think it makes sense to continue that on, because I think that's some opportunity for redevelopment for
Yeah.
Main Street too.
I should say I didn't receive any public comment for or against the item. We did field a couple of calls, I think primarily from business owners that were in the area about what the rezone would do. Obviously, the clean industrial that is going there currently would be grandfathered, and I think they were mostly interested in information, but didn't hear anything else.
Public comment was my only question.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, at this point, we'll open it up for public comment. If anyone has a public comment and they'd like to state it, you can come to the podium, state your name.
William Bustos. I own a couple properties on Main Street. I'm kind of new to this, so bear with me and please be a little patient. I'd like to applaud you guys in expanding the vision and pushing it north. I think it's fantastic. I did have two questions. One is, will there be reconsideration for 7th Avenue going both ways instead of just in one direction? And second, is there any other consideration for parking? Because I own a building on 6th Avenue that's being built, and depending on the days, I could have 50 or 60 contractors on site, and even when they're using the garage, I do feel that density, if you will. I'm not against the idea, I support it. It's just are there any conversations happening, one about 7th Avenue, going back and forth, because when you go down 6th, you have to cross over all the way to 8th, and obviously 5th Avenue has been closed, number one. And number two, any consideration with excess parking? Thank you.
Any comments? I think until we know what's gonna be there, we don't have any parking.
The city has a long-term parking strategy for the Main Street downtown area. Ultimately, we would like to have 2 parking structures, potentially 3, but we are in the early stages of even design work for the first one, which would be at the southwest portion of the City Hall property and just west of the Senior Center. And secondly, commercial uses, kind of as an incentive to use the form-based code and locate downtown, commercial uses are not required to supply their own parking. Again, it creates a short-term problem or an issue, but long-term, we see the structures and the city lots as helping with that. Now, residential uses are required. They do need to provide their own parking, but for the commercial uses, we're hoping that that's an incentive. But there is a longer-term strategy, and I'd welcome you to come in and talk with Cody or anyone in the RDA. They're in that beginning stages of that. As far as 7th being open to both ways, I've not heard anything on that at the present time. But that could be run through the traffic committee, and if they recommend that it be opened up, then they would make that recommendation to the city. So.
Anything else?
Oh.
My name is Max Jones. I just live at 7409 South in the rezoning area, and just have a question on how that would affect my property being rezoned into that category. I'm sure it doesn't affect anything cost-wise or anything like that, but just wanted to hear a clarification on what that means exactly for my property.
Yeah, I can answer that. It doesn't change anything with your property. Everything remains exactly the same. Everything that's going on currently, it won't change. Is it just a single family residence that you have? Yeah, I don't think anything would change with that.
I mean, they're grandfathered anyway, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what,
Yeah.
it's grandfathered in.
But what
Yeah.
about with the form base, if they decided to remodel?
Yeah, there could be some implications if large changes were wanting to be made.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as the existing structure goes, you're fine. If you decide to sell the property in the future at some point, the form-based code actually allows more uses than what the current zone is. And regardless, even under the current clean industrial zone, you're still grandfathered as a single-family home. So that grandfathering is the same under clean industrial and form-based code. So those implications are still the same. It would still be limited to the footprint of the home as it is, even under the current zone.
I am planning on selling the home in the next month or two, so I was just wondering if I needed to inform the new owners anything that changes either, or it should just all be.
Yeah, everything as it currently is would remain the same, but then if they decide to sell in the future, this really would open the door for, I guess you could say, higher intensity uses more than just a single family home.
Oh, okay.
If you would like, I mean, you can visit with us maybe tomorrow, and we can show you exactly what the differences are between those 2 zones. And then you can maybe discuss that with your realtor, if that, how that may affect the valuation of your property.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Tyler Lindsay. I own the property at 7397 in the rezone area. We've been operating there for about 20 years now, and just concerned as to what the rezone would do for our business. I know we are planning eventually an interior remodel, nothing exterior, and I'm wondering if this change will affect that in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah. you're
So
okay.
we're just pretty much grandfathered in and
Yes.
can continue using the property as is. And then when we go to sell it, would it still be grandfathered, or is that when it would? Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as you it keeps being used for that use, even if it's sold to another party, as long as they're using it for that use, it would remain allowable. I guess I will say, one thing that you will not be able to do is expand the use, right? So if you want to, expand the building or whatever,
That's where it would affect us.
yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that there's no other public comments, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the public hearing portion is closed. Thank you for the participation. It's
Yeah.
great to have you all here.
Thank you.
Involved citizens is awesome. Do we need to talk about legal on this one?
I guess, so this is a discretionary decision. It's legislative. What other questions do you have about it?
I think you answered their questions and that would have answered
Yeah.
ours. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I move that we recommend approval of the rezone request to rezone the following parcels from clean industrial to Main Street Form-Based Code 7413 South Main Street, 7409 South Main Street, 7407 South Main Street, 7397 South Main Street, and 669 West 8th Avenue, consistent with the findings included in the staff report.
I'll second.
Roll call vote?
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks.
The next item on the agenda, I'll read slow. Midvale City initiated amendment to Midvale City Municipal Code Section 17-7-12.2 to remove commercial nursery as a use in the regional commercial zone. Section 17-7-13.2 to add storage yard as a use in the clean industrial zone, and Section 17-2-15 and 17-2-19 to refine the definitions of outdoor storage and storage yards. Vendolin is presenting.
Thank you. As you can see from the, not from the presentation,
That's
because
really
that's
pretty.
not on there.
I don't think we should mess with that.
Yeah,
That's
this is almost like a nursery there, that's correct. Let's try this again.
That's not Midvale.
No, it's Bing. See, now it's not connecting. Yep.
Isn't it usually just Vendolin that it happens
Yes,
to?
because I'm plugging my computer in.
Ah.
Because I was trying to show you other things, but it's somehow. Wait a minute.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, but it seems to be coming out. One second. Yeah, I think you're right.
Into the presentation, and then project it, do like the presentation, yeah, that one right there. Then,
Bless you.
Do this again.
give it a shot.
Yeah, I think I have an idea. 1 second. Because then we probably need to do.
Smells good.
I can just go through the slides if you would like.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'll just do this verbally, and then the rest you'll just have to use your imagination. So this is basically one part of the continuation of the item that Johnny brought to you. And as part of it, we are also tweaking some other aspects that affect the regional commercial zone, but also other zones. And one of those aspects is that this proposes to remove the commercial nurseries from the regional commercial zones use list. The reason is very similar to the strike of manufacturing. It's something that's out of character with the other uses that we want to see in a commercial, retail, and service-oriented zone. The definition in the development code for commercial nurseries basically says that it's very much a large-scale agricultural type of operation. It even has something about experimental raising of trees. So it's not your local Home Depot store that's meant with that. So that's the reason for that portion of this code amendment to strike commercial nurseries out of the RC zone. Then the second item in here is to add storage yards as a use in the clean industrial zone. And that's really just to accommodate the uses that we've struck out of the regional commercial zone. And then the third item goes into the definitions for outdoor storage and storage yards. And it does basically two things. If you look at this, it makes them a lot shorter. It cuts maybe 70% of the definition out. But what's being taken out really doesn't disappear. It's reintroduced in the next item on the agenda, where we are adding a section in the supplementary regulations chapter in the code. So the idea here is to not regulate in the definitions. That's usually a place where things get lost. The public, if they look at the code, they will usually not look at the definitions. And even as staff, on occasion, we stumble over that the section in the code that addresses directly what we are talking about is really the proper place where to regulate. For example, as you can see in here, a storage yard needs to be a primary characteristic of a permitted use, and it can constitute more than 15% of the lot area. Something like this you would want to have upfront for any applicant to see, and you don't want to bury that in the definitions. That's really the thrust of this. So, and this is the definition for storage yard, and then the definition for outdoor storage, it's the same thing. I mean, it's shrinking a lot. It makes it a lot easier to work with. And that's really everything this amendment is about. And the next item will then go more into where do these items go that we've struck out of here. Do you have any questions for me on this?
So we will still have them.
Pardon me?
We will still have those regulations just in this next.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's clear to me.
yeah, sounds good. So we'll open this part up for the public hearing portion. Were there any comments?
I move that we close the public hearing portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there weren't any phone calls on this one, so.
Can't imagine why.
Well, I move that we recommend approval of the code text amendment that 1, removes commercial nurseries from the RC zone, 2, adds storage yards to the CI zone, and 3, refines definitions for outdoor storage and storage yards with the findings noted in the staff report.
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Chair Erickson,
Yes?
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes?
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, good job, Evelyn. Next up, we have the Midvale City initiated amendment to Midvale City Municipal Code 17-7-7.6, 17-7-10.12.12D, and 17-7-13.5 to amend and remove outdoor storage regulations from the state street zone, Jordan Bluffs sub-areas 1 through 3 development, and clean industrial zones, and relocate said amendment regulations to section 17-6-3 supplementary regulations of the Midvale City Municipal Code. Johnny is presenting.
Awesome. So this one is exactly as Vendeline said. It's a continuation of his item he just presented. So we're essentially removing the current outdoor storage regulations from the zones that it exists in, replacing it into the supplementary regulations chapter that we created last meeting. Well, city council that still has to approve. And we also updated those regulations. They're here before you. So it's everything that was included in those definitions, plus a little more that we thought would help regulate a little bit better as to what exactly happens in those outdoor storage and storage yard areas. So this is what we're moving forward with this. It's just removing from certain zones and then replacing the amended ones into the new chapter. Questions for me? And no public comment on this one.
I'm so surprised.
I know. I don't have any.
Now we need to open the public hearing.
Oh, right, thank you. We're going to open up the public hearing portion.
And I recommend we close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
I move that we recommend approval of the text amendment to remove section 17-7-7.6 and 17-7-10.12.12D and 17-7-13.5 and relocate amended outdoor storage and storage yard regulations to section 17-6-3 as provided in the attachments with the findings noted in the staff report.
I second.
Roll call vote, please. Uh-oh. Papa has the giggle.
Chair Erickson,
Yes?
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, Midvale City initiated amendment to the Midvale City Municipal Code, section 17-7-9.12.1.8E and 17-7-12.4F to remove references to storage yard architectural standards in the Riverwalk and regional commercial zones. Johnny, presenting.
So this one we're just removing, I'll just skip to the page here. So this is all we're striking from the two zones in Riverwalk overlay and regional commercial. We're not sure why they exist there, as they're not allowed uses to begin with. So we're just removing the architectural standards from those two sections for storage yards.
So cleaning up.
Yes.
All right.
No comment on this
Okay,
one.
let's open it up to the public hearing comment portion.
I move that we close the public hearing portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any thoughts? No? Okay. Motion?
I move that we recommend approval of the text amendments for section 17-7-9.12.1.8E and 17-7-12.4F as provided in the attachments with the finding noted in the staff report.
Second?
Roll call vote, please.
Chair Erickson,
Yes?
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes?
Commissioner Lidke,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, we have Midvale City initiated amendment to Midvale City Municipal Code Section 17-7-11.3B4G. That's funny. To reduce the distance between an outdoor dining area and existing residential use from 100 feet to 20 feet in the Main Street form-based code. Johnny's presenting again.
So this one's also just another one of those cleanup text amendments. And Liz in the last meeting presented the amendments to our State Street zone that presented a similar reduction in the implementation of the standards for outdoor dining in the State Street zone. So we're matching that, and we're also changing it because for Main Street area, 100 feet is, typically more than 2 property depths away from the street. And it kind of pushes away the development that we want on Main Street with outdoor dining areas for restaurants and other areas such as that. So this is to help promote that as well.
Makes sense with if you want commercial mixed use and you have a restaurant in the bottom of a commercial or a residential complex.
Exactly.
You can't have dining outside.
And there is exceptions for mixed use buildings. This is more for say somebody has a building and they wanted to put it next to it and the house behind them is within the 100 feet, pretty much limits what they can do.
As an example, we had a recent building permit application that came in, and the depth of that parcel is only 65 feet. So the dimensions just don't work out. So either we don't want outdoor dining downtown, but we do want it, or we change the code.
Yeah. Well, and if it's in the front of the building on Main Street, then you've got a buffer for the residential. So.
Leave it and the neighbor across the street serve your food.
Right.
Seems right.
Right, exactly.
Could we put that in the code then?
All right, let's open this. Oh, were there any public? No.
None on this one.
Let's open it up for public hearing.
I move that we close public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye. I move that we recommend approval of the text amendment for section 17-7-11.3B4G as provided in the attachments with the finding noted in the staff report.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Chair Erickson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lidkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Snow,
Yes.
Commissioner Tippett.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Great.
Should be the last one.
Vendelin, upcoming meeting and projects.
First of all, I wanted to make sure that all of you know that the little park that's next to Zions Bank, that's a public park.
It's the start, right? It's the start of the bigger park.
Yes, it's the start of a very
Of the
large
bigger
park.
Yeah.
I was thinking the one on Center Street. It's
No,
like,
no,
there's a
no, not that Zions
No.
Bank. So
And that was walk.
the technology
the
center.
corporate
Yeah.
center.
There is a grand opening event. It's on May 1st. I believe that's a Wednesday at 6 p.m. I've just checked the city's website. I don't find.
I saw it on Facebook.
Did you see it on Facebook? Okay.
It announced the grand opening and pickleball and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So I saw it on
too. I saw that
Facebook.
too.
It wasn't on Instagram, right?
So I'm glad to hear it's on Facebook because I can't find it on the website itself. Somehow they haven't posted it yet on there. So just wanted you to know about that, and maybe something you want to be at. You might bump into some people.
A celebrity?
Maybe, who knows? Maybe Zions Bank's president. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. You've noticed that the construction on the food truck plaza is commencing. That should all happen pretty quickly. I think I heard that the contractor believes that they will be done in August. So hopefully that will be the case.
Will they be having food trucks during the summer, or we're taking a moratorium this year?
I don't know, Adam, if you know anything. I thought I heard there will be food trucks, but I am not quite sure where they will park. It's just over here.
Right where they have before.
Where they have been.
Yeah, that's where they have before.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, it'll be food truck Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah, they moved the day, I
okay.
guess.
More tacos on Tuesday.
Yes, Taco Tuesday.
Why does that sound funny when Vandelin with his accent? Taco.
Yeah, I don't know. Then you might be delighted about this. The next planning commission meeting is cancelled because of the APA conference. We are all pretty much gone. And
Awesome, then that's when I will get counted as missing.
and I'm sure there will be a meeting for the second meeting in May. I mean, generally speaking, it seems we have more activity than we had last year at this time. And internally, we've been working on changing our systems, and we are hopefully bringing on a software vendor that will bring a lot of what we do into a software package, and as part of that we'll be able to develop more sort of outward facing information services. I mean, hopefully at some point we'll be able to have a map people can click on and might be able to see what types of projects are currently sort of in the pipeline or what has been approved.
That would solve a lot of questions on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it also helps internally with a lot of the communication, for example, code enforcement, building permits, business licenses. It brings all the data together, and there's a lot of upside to having that. And it would also help with some of the issues we sometimes struggle with that you see and tell us about. So, yeah, that's, I think, everything I have for today.
And the kite making? Forgot to give that to my boyfriend.
Oh,
Isn't that's at the park?
Oh, is that the Jordan?
That's the
Yeah.
Jordan Park.
I just read Design Your Own Kite, and that got me excited. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the park.
Still in my purse. All right. Thank you, Vandelin. That's exciting. Good job, staff. You've been presenting a lot of stuff to improve, so.
Good job getting through all those dashes and points.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of them.
That's a lot of them.
I choked on my mint. Sorry.
All right, is there a motion to close?
I motion. I suggest that we close. I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 6:44 p.m., please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ay, ay, ay.
Good job.